we actually are going to start standing. And so my clock reads 6 o'clock. So what I'll do is I'll just invite you to go ahead and stand. I'm going to keep you unmuted for now, just in case anyone else who's coming in has any questions. But we're going to start standing. And then you want to stand in a way that makes you feel really stable. So maybe that's hip distance apart. Maybe that's wider, your feet wider apart. Hi, Trish. I see your name there. I'll get you checked in. Looks like. And so you can keep your eyes open or closed, but we're just going to start with a big shrug up of our shoulders up towards our ears, and then exhale out your mouth and let your shoulders drop down. And then inhale your shoulders up, and then exhale your shoulders back down. And then go ahead and begin to take a body scan here. We're going to start with our feet. So starting with your feet, just kind of feel into the support of your feet. Notice where your weight is distributed in your feet. And if you need to reset your feet in any way, go ahead and do that now. So frequently with added stress, added tension, or grief, I know I've been experiencing personally a lot of grief just with everything that's going on. We hold emotion in our body, right? So I want to invite you during this body scan to notice any areas of your body that might feel just a little bit different, right? Meaning maybe you're holding in a certain area of your body, and just kind of allow yourself to scan with curiosity and just notice any areas of your body that are calling out to you that feel tense, or that maybe you know already that you're holding tension or grief in. And allow that to just be. So when you get to an area of your body, so now maybe you've floated your awareness up to your ankles, perhaps you're in your calves or your knees now at this point in your body scan. But when you reach an area that has something to tell you or something to say in some way, it's trying to communicate with you, just go ahead and let it. Just go ahead and listen. You could send your breath to that area. Right. And as you're here continuing with your body scan, maybe now you're up into your thighs, maybe you've arrived at your hips. So if you've passed your hips, come on back down with your awareness to your hips. And I'd like for all of us to take a big deep breath right down into our pelvic bowl. So you're going to drop your breath down into the deep low belly pelvic bowl. Relax your pelvic floor muscles. And then as you exhale, exhale out your mouth and allow all of that energy, all that nourishing breath to flood your hips. Flood that whole area of pelvic bowl and hips. And then just try that a couple more times. So much of a lot of our emotional holding does happen in our hips. So we're just kind of allowing a little more space for that energy to move around and shift a little bit. And if you're feeling compelled to move your hips, feel free to move your hips, right? I'll just share a brief quote with you called "Seeing Through Another's Eyes." Now I have no choice but to see with your eyes. So I am not alone. So you are not alone. So a quote by Yanis Ritsoks, and I've just been really landing with that a lot. And in fact, it's in my book that I read every day, and on Sunday that was the quote that came up. So I felt like that was really well timed, fortuitous timing there on that quote, considering what happened on Saturday and Friday in our town in Seattle. So continue bringing your body scan awareness up into your belly now. Notice any holding or tension in your belly. So we often hold a lot of anxiousness and anxiety in our solar plexus. It's that place where when we're nervous, we get butterflies, that place below the heart above the navel. So you might even just give yourself a little tenderness there. Maybe run your hands back and forth, maybe circling around. Hi, Tatiana, welcome. Tatiana, we're just standing and doing a brief body scan. So we're at the solar plexus now, and then breathe into your belly. Nice deep breaths into your belly. And as you breathe out, gently draw your belly back towards your spine and allow your tailbone to grow long down towards the floor. And then relax your belly and do that again. Nice deep breath into your rib cage, that solar plexus area. And then exhale, let it out with a gentle engagement of your core. And then allow your awareness to continue your body scan up into your shoulder girdle, your heart, your rib cage, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. And then just noticing what you feel there, right? Do you feel any tightness in and around your heart space, the back of your heart, the front of your heart? Any tightness in your shoulders or your neck from maybe being hunched over the computer, or maybe that's where you hold emotion as well. So you just paying attention, right? Just paying attention with curiosity, sending breath where it needs to go. And now you might even be moving your neck and head, maybe from side to side, or tucking your chin and rolling an ear to a shoulder, ear to the other shoulder. Just really tuning into you, your body, what it's telling you, what's speaking to you. Staying curious with your ears open, your heart open. Good. And then go ahead and take your fingertips up to your crown, up to your scalp, and just begin to either tap your fingertips along your head, all around the crown of your head into your forehead. The other option would be to kind of give yourself a massage with all 10 fingers pressing into your scalp and making little circles, right? So maybe a little combination of both, but just enlivening your scalp, giving your brain a little break here. Notice where your thoughts are. See if you can't continue this body scan. Staying curious. Good. And then begin to bring your hands down to your neck and give your neck a little massage. Good. And then let's interlace our fingers behind our head. Send your elbows out to the sides of the room, and then take a big in breath as you lift your heart and head up. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, tuck your chin, and curl into a deep cat stretch here into your upper spine. And then inhale, open all the way back up. Big inhale, breath, lift your heart up, open your elbows out and away from each other. And then exhale, curl elbows towards each other as you tuck in. Chin, upper back, tailbone, knees bend. Let's do that one more time. Big inhale, opens up. Open up through your chest, your ribs, and then curl and tuck and get all that space in between your shoulder blades here. And then hold this shape. So you're not pushing on your head at all. You're just holding this kind of shrimp-like shape in your spine, and then you're sending a deep breath into your upper back. And feel your breath expand that area of upper back and your ribs. And then exhale, go ahead and release that. You got it. Good. And then move your arms out to the side and just let them flop around as your torso moves from side to side. And then begin to speed it up. So now your arms are just doing whatever they're going to do. There's no effort there, but your torso is what's propelling them to wrap around you and kind of flop your hands on your body. And then begin to slow that movement down until your arms are almost completely still. And then find that little bend in your knees again. Reach your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Gather your shoulder blades together and really poof your chest forward. Poof your rib cage forward. And then spill over into a shoulder rinse. Keep your knees bent. And then once you arrive, maybe you begin to straighten your legs. Let your neck be relaxed here. Breathe in. What are you breathing in? And breathe out. What are you breathing out? And press the floor away and come on back. Good. We're going to take a breath practice that's called a Kriya, and it's just a really active breath practice. We're going to stand just as we are. Our arms will reach up overhead. And then as we exhale, it's a sharp exhale like a Kapalabhati or breath of fire where we snap the belly back. And at the same time, we're going to make a fist and pull the elbows back, right? So it'll look something like this. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And keep that up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Belly draws in. Really sharp exhale right out your mouth. And snug your elbows back. So it's a pretty powerful exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. You got it. And then circle sweep your arms out and up. We're going to take a swan dive forward and work into some sun salutations here. Inhale to halfway rise. Exhale to lower. Plant your palms and step your left foot back for your lunge. Stay low. Keep your left hand on the mat and then inhale your right arm up. Exhale your right arm down. Good. Shift your hips up and fold over your right leg just for 2 breaths here. You might even lift your right toes up off the mat. Good. And then go ahead and lower back down. This time we're going to rise up to crescent lunge. So still with right knee leading. Inhale breath and then exhale lower. Hands come to the mat. Step it to plank pose. Options here, you can stay atop a push-up or you can lower your knees down. We're going to exhale for 3, we're going to exhale down onto our belly and take 3 rounds of breath in locust pose. So bring your arms down towards your feet and lift your palms so they're facing the ceiling. Pick up your legs, your knees are straight, your glutes are engaged, legs are strong. Keep your neck in line with your spine. Glide your shoulder blades together and then down your back. So lots of lift in your upper chest. And then exhale to lower. Hands come towards the shoulders, just tucking in towards your high ribs. Tuck your toes, inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. 3 intentional breaths here in downward dog. Notice your inhale. What are you breathing in? Notice your exhale. What are you breathing out? Coming back to that tonglen breath meditation. Good, and then on the next exhale, we're going to step the left foot forward. Stay low, take your twist, left arm reaches up. Good, exhale, lower left arm down. Pick up hips, fold over left leg. You might pick up your left toes. Good, and then come back down into the low lunge. Reach your arms up in line with your ears. Hold for 1 breath. And then exhale to lower. Hands come down, stepping to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise all the way up. Connect your palms. Trace your midline and come all the way back down. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. We'll step our right foot back this time. We're coming straight up into our crescent lunge. We're going to reach our left arm back to catch our right leg, right? So you're going to have this nice deep lunge and lift your your right arm up and out. So you open up a little more into your upper right chest. And then you're reaching back with your left hand towards your back leg. Good. Nice. Inhale, breath here. Exhale, float all the way back down to the mat. Step it to plank pose. Take an in breath. And then take the flow of your choice here, but hold your back bend for 3 breaths. So choose the back bend. Maybe you come back to Shalabhasana locust pose. Maybe you come into a low cobra or a high cobra or your up dog. Breathe in, 3 counts. So a full breath cycle is an inhale and an exhale. And when you're ready on that next exhale breath, we'll tuck toes and lift yourself up from your center, downward facing dog. 3 intentional breaths here in your down dog. Go ahead and extend through your arm bones here. So imagine that you've just lengthened your arms just a little micromillimeter. Let your tailbone rise. Let your chest shift back towards your thighs. And then next exhale, right foot comes forward. Rise up to crescent. You got it. Once you arrive in your crescent lunge, we'll reach back for that back leg. Nice. Again, you want to stay nice and open in your upper chest here. So you might move your left arm just a little bit out and away instead of straight up in line with your ear. Nice back bend here in upper back. Let's exhale to release all the way back down. Step forward to the top of the mat. Go ahead and dangle here for a moment in ragdoll and just let yourself relax and release. Let your shoulders naturally shrug up towards your ears. Notice how your low back feels, right? Do we need to bend the knees and rest belly on thighs? Notice where your hamstrings are, if they need a little more support with bent knees. And then go ahead and release your bind. We're going to take our left fingers and reach our left fingers out towards the right, like way ahead of our right toes. And then our right arm reaches up. So it's a nice long twist here. So you've slid your left fingers far out in front of your right toes, and your right arm is reaching up. So you've tented your fingers here, or your palm is flat if it can reach. Bend your left knee if you want. And then exhale to release, and take the second side, right fingers float up and away and well ahead of the left toes, and then left arm reaches up. So we want to intentionally stay nice and long in our body here, long in the spine. Sits bones reaching back behind you. Good, and then go ahead and exhale to come back down. Inhale to halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Send your heart down towards your feet by taking a hold of either your big toes or the backs of your ankles, sending your chest closer towards your thighs, just for a little bit of a deeper stretch, and certainly you can do this with bent knees. Good, and then go ahead and release your hands back down. Stepping your left foot back, we're coming back into crescent lunge. Reach your arms up overhead, and then exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, twist to the right, and then maybe find your bind on the exhale. So your left elbow comes to the right knee, stacking your palms at your chest and your elbows stacking. Hug your right outer hip in towards your midline. Good, and send your left hip slightly forward, just so we really use the hip muscles to help cinch the hips in place. So the twist is happening in our waist and our spine, and not our pelvis. Let's go ahead and release. Come back up on the inhale. Exhale, float it forward, plank pose. Back bend of choice, 3 breaths. Might be up dog, might be cobra, might be locust pose. Good. On your exhale, take it back into your downward facing dog. Take an inhale here, and a full exhale out your mouth this time. Bottom of that exhale, right foot comes forward. Left foot comes forward. We're going to take our twist, rise up crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come to heart. Find your twist, then find your bind. And certainly you can opt out of the bind. You can stay upright if you'd like. Really sending your left hip back, right hip forward. Good. Stay with your breath. Really nice work. On your next exhale, could you deepen your twist just the tiniest bit by drawing your belly slightly in? And then go ahead and release. We're going to come back up, arms in line with ears, and then exhale to lower. Let's step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And then all the way back down to your forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. Find chair pose, so Utkatasana, fierce pose. Arms in line with ears to start. So we're going to sit low, weight in hips and heels. And on our exhale breath, we're going to swing our arms back behind us and let our heart float down towards our knees. And on the inhale, we're coming back up, arms in line with ears. And on the exhale, we're flinging our arms back behind us. So let's do it 3 more times. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, stay in your fierce pose the whole time. Inhale, arms go up in line with ears, and then exhale, fling your arms back. Last round, inhale and exhale. Good, interlace your fingers here. Take another dive over into a shoulder rinse, so straightening your legs and sending your arms up and over towards your head, or even just staying with your fist reaching up towards the ceiling. Good, bend your knees again. Release your hands back to Utkatasana, fierce pose, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. And you could step or hop back to plank pose here. So if you're gonna hop, you wanna bend your knees and take a little spring action all the way to plank. Lower on down, find your flow. Back bend of choice, one breath this time. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 3 intentional breaths here. What are you breathing in? And what are you offering out? Good, we're gonna lift our right leg into the air and bend our knee. And then trace a circle 3 times in one direction with your knee, and then 3 times in the other direction with your right knee. And then come on back to 3-legged dog. And on our exhale, we're gonna touch down into a brief pause in pigeon pose. So we'll just be here for 1 round of breath. So keep your back toes tucked. And then on the next exhale, we're gonna swing it back into 3-legged dog. So we're gonna be in 3-legged dog again here, inhaling, and then exhaling, touching back down into pigeon pose. So it's not reclined, we're gonna stay upright, good. Go ahead and pick it up and bring it back on your breath, 3-legged dog. And then one more time, briefly land in pigeon. Heart lifting, shoulder blades drawing down your back. Left toes stay tucked and bring it on back, 3-legged dog. Good, this time we're gonna exhale the foot all the way forward. Plant your left foot, rise up, warrior 1, coming up into warrior 1. Good. Inhale and exhale. Hold here for another breath. What are you taking in? What are you sending out? And then come on back down. Pick up your back heel, step it to plank pose. Take the flow of your choice. Could be top of push-up, full chaturanga, modified, eventually meeting back in downward facing dog. For 3 mindful breaths. Maybe closing your eyes this time. Next inhale, we'll lift our left leg into the air, bend the knee, and then make those circles here with your left knee, circling 3 times in one direction, and then 3 circles in the opposite direction. And when that's complete, you'll come back into 3-legged dog on the inhale, and exhale, bring your knee in between your hands, land briefly for 1 full round of breath in an upright pigeon pose. Exhale, pick up your hips, come back into your 3-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, bring your knee forward, let it land, let your back leg extend long behind you. Nice, exhale, come on back. 3-legged dog, stay for the inhale, and then last round, exhale, back to a brief landing in pigeon, and then back to 3-legged dog. You got it. Next exhale, we'll make our way to warrior 1. Left foot forward, right foot back. Arms reach up overhead, and then hold into this strong, powerful shape. Your back leg is really powered up. Your back glute is active. Your quadricep is active. You're actively pressing the outer edge of your right foot down towards the mat. Pulling your right hip forward. Good, and then exhale to lower. Take your time to make your way to plank or your version. Remember, flowing, this vinyasa flow piece can be done in tabletop, taking cow and cat, right? Find the back bend of your choice. If you're taking the vinyasa flow, coming down and back up, one breath into back bend, and then come back to downward facing. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Good. Let's lift our right leg high. And then we'll exhale, bring our right knee to the outer right elbow, and then bring it back to three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your right knee to the outer left elbow, and then back on the inhale, three-legged dog. Good. And then exhale, bring your knee in all the way towards your nose, curl into your spine, hold there to take another breath. Then exhale and plant your right foot. Good. We're going to walk ourselves to the long edge of our mat for a wide-angled forward fold. Prasarita Padottanasana. And once you arrive, make sure your toes are pointing forward and not out to the outer edges of your mat. Rather, they're pointing towards the long edge of your mat. And then go ahead and pick up your torso, send your arms out to a T shape. And then notice if that caused you to lock your knees out at all. And could you soften your knees? And then notice your arms, just look out your right and left and just place your arms in alignment with your shoulders. Good. Pick up your belly and knit your rib cage together. Notice where your weight is in your feet. So frequently what we'll do is we'll shift our weight back into hips and heels because it's just a little bit easier. See if you can challenge yourself a little bit by sending your weight more towards your forefeet. Lifting up through your inner arches. Take an inhale breath as you exhale. Right hand comes in front of left toes. Left arm reaches up. So let this be spacious here. So if it feels crunched up, simply walk your right hand farther forward from your left toes. Good. Big open twist here. If you want to bend your right knee, if that feels better for you, do that. Notice if your left hip is hiking up into your waist and send it back behind you. Let's exhale and come back down. Inhale, rise back up halfway. Look at your arms. Notice where they are in space. Arms in line with your shoulders. Redistribute the weight in your feet as needed. Good. Inhale, breath. Exhale, shift left hand in front of right toes, and then peel your heart up towards the sky. Right arm floats up overhead. So you can stay spacious in that area of solar plexus, above the belly, below the heart. Come on back down. That's your exhale. Inhale one more time halfway. Interlace your fingers behind you and then spill forward again with a shoulder rinse. Let your neck relax. Move your head from side to side. Reconnect with the weight distribution in your feet, evened out between heels and balls of feet. And then lift your right shoulder up and gaze up. And then lower back down. Same thing on the left. Inhale. And exhale. Got it. Nice. And go ahead and release your hands down. Point your left toes to the left. Walk over towards your left foot. Pick up your right knee. And then both hands come to the inside of your left foot. Here you have options, right? You can drop your right knee down. You can drop your elbows down. But again, I would invite you to stay long in your torso. So whatever you choose, if it makes you feel crunched up in your torso, then find a different variation. So for some folks, they like to walk the left foot a little farther away for more room. Feel free to do that. Other folks still like to maybe rock onto the outer edge of the left foot. So what feels right for you in your hips? So really tuning into what it is your body needs right now. And again, your elbows can be on the floor or your hands. One other option might be to take a nice open twist in this position with your right hand on the floor. So let this be yours, right? Let this be your pose, whatever it is your hips are calling for. And if you're on your elbows, let's come back with our hands to the inside of left foot. Walk left foot a little closer in towards your hands. Good. And then we're going to open up to warrior two. So take your time, peel open to warrior two, maybe reset left foot as needed. Good. Stabilize here in your warrior two. And once you're stable, we'll inhale up and over for reverse warrior. And then exhale, side angle. So we're going to stay stable in our base and let our arms and torso float freely back and forth from reverse warrior into side angle. So let this movement be as flowing as your breath. And so notice if you need to stop, recenter your breath, and maybe just hold one of those three poses we're working through. It's warrior two, it's reverse warrior, it's side angle. Got it. Nice, and then let's come back into our warrior two, straightening our left leg and pointing our left toes forward. Open your arms out like a starfish. Spread out through your fingers. Get lots of space in your palm here. And then we're going to inhale and imagine you're growing from your shoulders out through your fingertips, that your arms are growing longer. Same thing with your legs. So you're pressing your feet into the mat as if you're lengthening through your legs. Same thing with your arms. Big inhale. Exhale, make a fist and snug your elbows back, just like we did before. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale. Exhale. Belly draws in. Inhale, belly balloons, arms reach out. Exhale. Snug it in. So it's fierce exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. You got it. And then let's point our right toes to the right and begin to just briefly bend our knees so that we can lower down, pick up our left heel, walk our right foot out to the edge of our right side of the mat. Come into your version here of lizard pose. So again, lots of options. Dropping left knee is an option. Dropping elbows down could be an option. Rolling to the right edge of your right foot could be an option, and maybe even taking this big open twist. So go ahead and play with what works for you. Tune into this side of your body and what it needs. It might be different from that other side. What are you breathing in and what are you breathing out? Bring your hands back to the inside of your right foot. If they aren't already there, scoot your right foot a little closer over to the left. Plant your back left foot and then rise up for your warrior two. Once you arrive, make sure you feel really stable, so you might reset your stance and then begin that flowing, fluid movement with the breath, inhaling, reversing your warrior, exhaling, floating it to your side angle, really strong in your legs. Your right glute is engaged to keep your right knee tracking in line with your ankle. So feel this sense of deep, grounded stability in your legs and your hips so that your torso and arms can sort of free flow. Really opening up into the upper back. Keep your neck as relaxed as you can. Keep your breath moving through you. Just that reminder that our breath is what helps our life force, our prana, move through us, right? So when we're holding our breath, we're not allowing that energy to flow through us. Got it. Nice. We'll meet back in warrior two. Good. Inhale, breath. Exhale, windmill your arms. Come back down to frame your foot, step it to plank pose. Take the flow of your choice, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Breathing in, breathing out, and any time you know that you want to release any spent energy or maybe a thought that came up that isn't serving you, feel free to let that breath out your open mouth in as loud a sigh as you'd like, or a lion's breath. Good, and then go ahead and bend your knees and walk or hop up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Walk your hands back behind your legs so that your fingers kind of touch your Achilles tendons, and then if you can, glide your fingers underneath your heels. So now you have more weight in the balls of your feet. You're bending your knees a lot here. So now your forearms are nearly lined up with your calves. Take a big inhale breath, and then as you exhale, straightening your legs and pulling your fingers into your heels, sending your heart down towards your toes, little spinal traction. Good, and then go ahead and release that. Come on up, inhale, arms reach up overhead. Good, and then exhale. Take that big, forcible exhale out your mouth with your belly drawing in. And let's do it a few more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, exhale. And then begin to shift weight over into your left foot and pick up your right. And then decide where right foot wants to land for a tree pose tonight. Once you're stable here in your tree pose, invite your arms to do what feels most natural tonight. So I am opening my palms to face up, and my elbows are snugging in towards my waist. And this kind of gesture of receiving, so you decide what feels most natural for you tonight in your arm variation. Keep allowing the breath to move through you. And what are you breathing in? And what are you offering out? Nice, and then we're slowly releasing the right foot. And we're gonna let the right leg come behind us and then open up to a warrior three. So if you want, your arms could be out in a T or more like airplane arms, or your arms could be forward. Take another inhale breath here. As you exhale, come back. And then inhale, hug your knee in. Right knee hugs in towards your belly. Good. So taking all that strength and stability, and then giving yourself some tenderness here with a little hug in of your knee. Good. And then let's take the leg out to the side. Arms reach out and in that starfish-like shape. Press into your left foot. So you're lengthening out of your left hip. Good. And then slowly bring your foot down, but don't let it touch. And then you're going to bring it back up. So we're building up a little strength in the outer hip here with this. Your core is engaged. And you're not really letting the legs swing out and back. You're really controlling the movement. Right? So you're going to keep your right toes flexed. Great balance. Really nice work. Good. Countering all that sitting, and then go ahead and land your right foot down. Pick up your left and decide where your left wants to be tonight in your tree pose. And again, once you find that stability, let your arms open in whatever way feels natural. So it could be hands at heart, it could be arms out at a diagonal like our starfish shape. Stay with your breath. Stay tuned into that connection into your right foot. All the points of your right foot that are supporting your right leg in this entire pose. And breathe. And what would it feel like to smile? And then strong and steady, we'll release our left foot behind us. Open up to warrior three, your way. Notice if you're holding the breath, bring it back into your body. As you shift out of warrior three, you're gonna hug your knee in, still staying nice and strong in your right leg. Knee hugs in, spine grows long, collarbones go broad. Good. You got it. And then we're gonna exhale and lower the foot back down. Good. And then find that movement in your torso again and allow your arms to just come with you naturally, and then beginning to bring bigger movement in the torso and hips and let your arms float around your body.
I think we forgot to do the thing right.
And I didn't forget our left knee. And then we're going to come back into Tadasana. So once our arms settle, we're standing at the top of our mat. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Bend your knees, hop or float to plank pose. Good. And then pike your hips downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg rises, and exhale, bring your left knee towards your outer left elbow. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, left knee comes to outer right elbow. Inhale, left leg rises, and then exhale, let your knee hover, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, and then begin to land your left knee in between your hands, and we'll come into a full reclined pigeon this time. But before we do, make sure that you have any support that you might want around you, right? Like a pillow under your left hip, for instance. Any props that you might want, maybe a block or even a pillow for your head as you lower down. Let's lengthen through our right leg first before we come down, and as you come down, let your heart lead. So you're pulling your heart away from your navel as you come down, and then arms are wherever your neck and shoulders can relax, right? So any arm variation where your neck and shoulders can relax is the right arm variation for you. And similar to when we were in the beginning of class with that body scan, can you drop your breath down into your belly and into your pelvic bowl? And as you exhale, imagine that nourishing breath washing through your hips. Then you're going to walk your hands back in front of you, lift yourself up. Tuck your right toes, send your left leg back. Now's an opportunity for a vinyasa flow. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Good, and we already did the right knee with our elbows, so this time we'll just lift our right leg high. Exhale, curl it in, let it hover for a moment, and then plant your right knee for your pigeon pose, but set it up. Get all the props that you might need or want, and tuck your back toes, lengthen through your back left leg. And then once you feel ready to begin to recline your pigeon, go ahead and recline your pigeon. Take a breath in and walk your hands back under you so you find that support to push yourself back up. Good, untuck your back toes. Another opportunity for a vinyasa flow, or simply come to tabletop and we'll meet there. So once we arrive in tabletop, I'm going to just try to reverse our breath here. So instead of breathing in for our cow stretch, we're actually going to breathe out as we lift our chest. So our exhale lifts our chest. Our inhale brings us into cat. When you're in your cat stretch, really feel that full inhalation into your upper ribs. And then as you exhale, releasing your belly down and you're lifting your heart up. Let's do that again. Inhale for cat. And exhale for cow. Good. Again, just another way to get a little more space perhaps in between your shoulder blades, your upper ribs, if you're feeling tightness there. And then we'll come to neutral spine. And to counter all that sitting, we're going to lift our right leg back behind us, straight out from the hip. So I like to take my left hand and just feel where my hip tips are to make sure that my right hip isn't hiking up towards the ceiling. Good, and then left arm comes out and away. So firm up your core here. Power up your right leg, meaning you're going to press through your right heel so it fires up your glute and your quadricep. Stay long, push the floor away with your right hand so you're lifting out of right shoulder. And then exhale, go ahead and slowly tap, stay long, tap fingers and toes, and then inhale. So it's a pretty subtle movement and it's very controlled. Exhaling, the fingers and toes tap, and then inhale, your leg and arm come back. So you want to slow the movement down a lot. It's easy to do it fast, right? Because then we don't have to think about all that engagement in our musculature. So we're doing this about 10 times. Stay long in your spine. I know for me, I have to work on dumping my belly down, so I have to work on that overarching in my back. And then when you feel complete here, we're coming back to tabletop and taking a few more rounds of cow and cat. And let your breath do whatever it wants to do here. So if it feels more natural to do the inhale for cow and exhale for cat, feel free. But if you liked that variation where we exhale for cow and inhale for cat, then take that. And then sink back to child's pose. So let your knees stay right where they are. And just come on back to child's pose. If your forehead lands on the mat, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. Just let go of some of that holding in your neck muscles. Arms stretch out and away. Big breath in. And big breath out. Another big breath in. And a big breath out. Bottom of that exhale. We'll take our inhale to rise back up to tabletop. Left leg stretches back behind us. And then power it up. Check in with your hip alignment here. So your hip tips are like two car headlights pointing down towards the mat. Right arm floats out and away, nice and long in your waist, and press your left hand into the mat. Lift out of left shoulder. Good. And then when you feel stable here and in alignment, you'll go ahead and find that slow tap of fingers and toes down, and then that rise up on the inhale. So again, really slowly and about 10 times. Your head is in line with your spine. When you feel complete and you've done as many as you did on the other side, we're going to come back to tabletop for 3 rounds of cow and cat. So again, you decide the breath. even decide to take an inhale and an exhale in cow, and an inhale and an exhale in cat. Good. Nice. And then neutral spine. You might sink back for just one breath in child's pose. Eventually, we're going to meet on our back. So if you're ready to head to your back now, go ahead. If you need a breath in child's pose first, you have a moment for that too. And then once we come onto our back, we're going to come into a supported shoulder stand, meaning we're going to take our hands at our hips and lift up in a way where we really feel that we're taking the full weight of our pelvis and legs into our hands. So my thumbs are wrapped around the front of my pelvis, my fingers are wrapped back behind. So my thumbs are kind of right at the rim of my pelvis here. And this is just a way to come into this where it's not so intense for your neck, right? Not so much pressure in your head. So if this doesn't feel good to you, come on down and be in Viparita Karani, the restorative version of that, right? So your tailbone is on the mat, long spine. So either variation, we'll just be here for a few more breaths. So whatever version of your shoulder stand feels right for you, but we're doing it supported, right? Whether or not our hips are on the mat or in our hands. And then shifting back into a plow pose, if that feels right in your body. So stay with your hands at your low back to support you. And then maybe toes touch up overhead. If that's not where you want to go, stay where you were. And if you're still in shoulder stand, you'll go ahead and come on down onto your back. And then let's all arrive there, slow and steady, moving with control in your core, your leg muscles, and lower on down. Take your feet to the mat. Good. Then walk your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, and let your elbows rest to the outer edges of your mat. So a passive stretch in the upper chest. Send the soles of your feet together. Take a big breath in, balloon your breath, and exhale out in a sigh. So let it be relaxed. Let your hips totally relax. And maybe your feet slide away from you and you don't have a really tight Baddha Konasana, and that's totally fine. Close your eyes. Notice what you are intentionally breathing in and intentionally breathing out. Release your hands from the back of your head. Help your knees come together. Walk your arms out to a T and just take a moment to windshield wiper your knees from side to side just a couple of times before you come into Shavasana, just to release low back. Maybe you get a little massage in your glutes, and maybe even feeling a stretch through the outer leg, the lateral side of your leg. And eventually landing in Shavasana. Take your time to arrive. Make sure you have all the support that you need underneath you, maybe under your knees or your head. Breathe in and breathe out, seeing through another's eyes. Now I have no choice but to see with your eyes, so I am not alone, so you are not alone. Begin to bring a little movement into your body. If you'd like to stay where you are, that is absolutely invited. If you are coming to a nice tall seat, we'll go ahead and begin to make your way there, and we'll close our class with an Om, a Shanti, 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 and an Om. And Shanti means peace. So that first breath in will be deep so that we can share in the sound of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and then we'll take another breath and we'll close with an Om. And your hands can hold whatever mudra feels appropriate for you, and it might be just in that mudra of receiving with open palms. So you might clear your throat or swallow, and we'll breathe in together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Breath in.